You're listening to The Janchi Show, hosted by 3 Korean American adoptees diving headfirst into what it means to be adopted, Korean American, and more. And now, here's your hosts, Nathan, Patrick, and KJ.
What's good, y'all? It is your boys, KJ, Nathan, and Patrick, back again for episode 181 of The Janchi Show. Woohoo! We have in the studio with us live kids chorus, kids choir to celebrate and cheer for us every time that we do something good or mention something cool that we've accomplished. Like 181 episodes. When I tell people that, they're genuinely shocked. Do you run into that when you share the amount of episodes that we've done? That people are like, that's a lot of episodes.
No, because to what we said earlier, nobody cares about the numbers. But not only do people not care about the numbers. One time, Sarah told one of her previous bosses, she was like, "Oh yeah, my husband has a podcast," and he was like, "Freaking every guy has a podcast." and then, so not only did he not care about the numbers, he didn't even care about the existence of the podcast. He's like, "Freaking everybody has a podcast now." Well, that was like 3 years ago.
So, oh damn!
But then when she explained the podcast, he's like, "Oh wait, actually, that's pretty cool."
That is, I mean, to be honest, a fair reaction on his part.
Yeah,
I mean, we're still going. I mean, we're still here after 5 years. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
well, that's what he's saying. Is like everybody has one, and they don't make it past episode 10 now. I think is the stat.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, after a year. So.
Why? What are we? What do we do here specifically for folks who might be new and joining us? And what does Janchi mean? One of you.
We are a podcast hosted by the 3 of us. You asked what we are, man.
I did. I did.
So just trying to answer. We talk about the adoptee experience, the Asian adoptee experience from our perspective as 3 Korean Americans, and usually we have a guest on with us as well who is adopted from an Asian country, usually. And so we talk about their experience growing up in America, again, usually, but mostly just like as a third culture kid. And we, just kind of wrestle with like questions about identity. We're happy to go wherever their life story takes us and wherever our life story takes us, whether that's a happy place or a hard place or whatever. We call ourselves the Janchi Show because Janchi is a Korean word that means to feast. At the end of every episode, we feast upon a Korean snack or drink item. And it is also just the philosophy of the show that if you're throwing a feast, you're throwing a party. And we want to celebrate our stories, those things that make us unique, those things that make us human, those things that bind us and bring us all together.
One ring to rule them all. Being adopted.
In the podcast, bind us. Yes.
Yeah, in the podcast.
One ring light.
That was good. I didn't know you were going to take the whole thing. I figured you might pass off Janchi over to Nathan.
It's always much better than how I always explain it. So just don't choke.
Damn,
Patrick. You don't have to agree that bad on it.
Don't slam yourself like that, dude.
No, it is. It's way more articulate. Come on.
I will just say, it's always funny in the edit room. Every time we throw to Nathan for what Janchi is, he's like, Janchi. Long pause. Janchi.
You do have to think about it every time.
Aren't we supposed to be dramatic? Sorry.
No.
I mean, it's a podcast. People are listening.
Leading into the elder stereotype, I feel like. The Asian elder.
Yeah, there you go.
Stroking is non-existent. I'll stroke my chin here for him.
Yeah.
Janchi.
Inconceivable.
Amazing.
I had 2 things. I just talked to a group of adoptees at Purdue. I gave a presentation, 3rd year in a row for this club that exists.
That was a group of adoptees?
Adoptees and mixed race Asian Americans. Asian
Oh,
Americans. Yeah.
A TBH? I just saw a bunch of Asian faces and I was like, yo, that's cool.
Totally.
I read your caption. It was like, if this, back when I walked on campus, if this group, I was like, I guess they didn't have like an Asian American group. I was like, I thought Purdue was big enough. So, but I did, again, classic KJ doing zero research. But that's cool.
Totally valid.
Mixed race. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I don't think Purdue had the Asian American Resource Center at that time.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Maybe, but I don't remember it. Yeah, but no, it's been really a big privilege to be asked back 3 years in a row now. And I feel like I give some like semblance of the same talk every time, but it's cool to chop it up like in the Q&A, the question and answer afterwards, because I feel like there's some very interesting questions that come up.
Yeah.
But fun fact, I found out that there is a student, a freshman, mixed race Chinese and Caucasian American at Purdue named Patrick Armstrong.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's the first time I've ever met someone, or I didn't meet them, but was told of someone's existence with this name that was not just purely the whitest person you've ever seen.
Do you know what? That means that when we first started the show, I think he used to be like connect with me on LinkedIn. And then we used to make the joke.
Sure.
I'm the only Asian Patrick Armstrong. That means that person's coming for you.
You're not.
Wow. I know that is what I was kind of thinking that when they told me that. I'm like, oh man, I'm kind of salty a little bit.
Yeah, your identity.
This kid has the exact same name as me.
I don't feel as unique.
Oh man, that was funny. But it also but it also made me think about. It's funny you bring up the identity part of it because I did another thing recently, and it made me think about like actually one of our previous conversations made me think about like, did I make like the adoptee identity, like did I lean into that too much and make that like too much of my identity? And then like now I'm in this phase of like, I don't want that to be the only thing that I'm known for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
sense?
if you're So this is a great segue into what we want to talk about. Yeah. So you're asking like, did I lean too hard into making my public persona somebody who uses adoption as a means to talk about other things?
Kind of. Yeah.
And now that you're like, well, I don't really talk about adoption that much and I want to back out of that. But then like all my speaking gigs or all my, whatever, it's all kind of related to adoption. But I'm like, I personally have maybe moved on into other interests and like, like you're working with like the city of Indianapolis and that kind of stuff. So yeah. So it's like, did I back myself into a corner?
Kind of. Yeah. It feels like, I don't know. It's just like, I felt like that's all that I wanted to talk about and did talk about and like, did event wise, and like when I would go to events, like I'm leading with that, and I'm just like, did I make myself the adoptee guy in the same way that I've been having this like this thought
Patrick,
over the last
guy.
2 years, the adoption guy about like did I make myself? I didn't ever want to be the podcast guy. Oh, that's the guy with the podcast. It just feels limiting in a way, not disrespectful. I don't think, but just like. And then I don't know, I've been thinking about this since we talked about like culture and connecting to culture. We recently like rehad that conversation and feeling like getting to define that for myself. I feel like in the same way, I could say the same thing about being like an adoptee now. It's just like, I don't want to be just that, I guess.
I don't want to be anything other than what I've
because
been
I also
trying to
like
be lately.
it came up because I went to also known as his 30th anniversary. So they're like an adoptee organization out in New York, and it was really cool, and I loved being there, and I love seeing friends from all over, and kind of like almost like not like a mini Ica, but kind of. I mean,
Sure.
one of the Sean from freaking Australia was there, so shout out to him. And he is on.
G'day.
He's doing like a Fulbright equivalent of going to explore adoptee community across the world. So that was the first stop of his trip.
Yeah.
And so like seeing other people lean into it in that way and like, I don't know, live their life that way. I love it for them. But then I think about myself and I'm like, is that for me? And like, did I go too far down that path already? I don't think that's true, but just something that I've been thinking about recently.
Interesting that you went to a event called also known as, and now you are talking about all the ways you have also been known as.
Hey, you know what's hilarious too? Like they featured me in their like 30 stories in 30 years, like
brag.
promo leading up to it. I'm just dropping small wins across this episode, all across this episode.
Name drop myself.
Yeah, but the organization is also known as, but like I have not been using my Korean name for reasons of my own related to adoption, and I completely forgot to put that in the submission form. So mine is the only graphic that just says Patrick Armstrong. Everybody else says Patrick Armstrong, also known as, and it has their like give it a name or birth
Oh, that's
name.
really funny.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh God. I'm like, I fucked it up. People are like, well, who is this guy? And what is he doing? Why is he here?
It's like, who's this white ass? Oh, wait, never mind. I see his picture.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. I just been thinking about that a lot recently of just like, I don't know, maybe I keep saying I'm in this place of being the most whole version of me, but I also feel I'm in this place of like malleability, and I'm trying to figure out like what that looks like.
Yeah. Well, I think it sounds more like you're just in a place of like you're comfortable with who you are, but you don't have like words to shape that for others, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I can articulate it okay. Actually, I'm doing it right here. Also, I just want to apologize that this has become like the therapy for me. I've not been to therapy in like 3 months. I feel like the show has kind of become that over the last few solos that we've done. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I can explain like, okay, this is why I feel this way. But then when I try to like pin down like who I am and what I do, I feel like that is a little bit more out there.
That's what I mean.
nebulous.
I think it's the succinctness in which you can communicate that to others. And I think what I'm hearing is like, you know, you early on you talked about like adoption, you became like the adoption guy, you know, like whatever. And I think like probably what I feel you railing against or like coming up with some like cognitive dissonance against is like now that you have accepted yourself as like whole, as good enough, as like this is who I am and this is authentic and this is my authentic way forward. Now you're looking at your public persona and you're like, all right, so I'm like the podcast guy or I'm the adoptee guy. I'm like, but the problem, and I've always had this with like kind of online spaces and just like public personas in general, is it paints you as like unfortunately one-dimensional.
right.
Like it makes it really easy for people to understand you when you're like the podcast guy or when you're the adoptee guy. But people are more complex than, and I think that like as you are living into like the fullness of being a complex whole human being, then you're looking at these other spaces where some version of you is represented and you're like, well, that's super one-dimensional. I don't want to be that. But at the same time, you're like, but then people don't understand me if I try to get into the nuance of who I am, you know, whatever. I experienced the same thing. Like the homepage of my website is a newspaper like looking thing because I was like, I don't know how I can talk about adoptee stuff, music stuff, web development stuff in one glance and it be effective. But those are like three things that I care about, three things that I'm passionate about. And I want that to be communicated very quickly, you know? So I was like, well, what's like the best way to say like, I have three very large things about my identity that I need you to understand. I would like you to understand very quickly and then you can explore from there. And so I went with this newspaper format because you get kind of three columns and you can see like, you know, whatever the thing is featured in the middle, that's like maybe what I'm thinking about right now. But then you could get immediately like, oh, there's other stuff, there's other context. And so it's like, it's really hard to, in words, I think, provide a succinct thing that adequately to both you and the listener summarizes who you are right now in a way that is meaningful for whatever reason you're talking together, whether that's just a relationship building, whether that's connection building, whether that's, you know, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fair?
You know what
Yeah.
this reminds me of? I hear you guys. It's definitely, I don't think I have one single persona.
Yeah, I'm finding about new TikToks all the time that you just started for stuff that you know.
Oh no, it's true. I do change. I change a lot of things often, and it's not because I want to be known as as I don't want to be known as one thing. It's because I get bored with lots of different things and I like to move around. Like I moved from Lego to Pokemon now, or I'll move from golf to like pickleball or tennis to soccer, whatever. I move around to different things a lot. Like that's why I probably love a buffet so much, is because I get variety. So I know you're going to say that's
hilarious.
on brand.
Wow.
That is on
That
brand.
is deeply on brand.
But it's funny. So for some of you who don't know, I did recently get a job at a Chicken and Pickle. And I remember to actually get that job, I had to make a resume. And I remember trying to define the title of my resume because it had, a topic or like a headline kind of a thing. And my career has always been photographer, right? But that's not what I was being hired for. So I was trying to find a way of adapting my resume that I haven't ever created or used in 25 years to be at least something readable for the company. And so I think it came, well, actually, what did it come? Community organizer and content creator.
Nice.
Is what I eventually turned it into, which is true. I do
pretty accurate.
Yeah, right. It's a little bit of this and that. So, but it was funny. I was like, yeah, I'm in a way, I'm changing my persona or label based on the current state of life that I'm in, which was trying to get this job. Even though it's always been a part of me, but it's not been the thing that I've highlighted and focused. So for you, I think you have been an adoptee. You have been,
still am.
Yeah, exactly. You have been
once adopted,
a
always
podcaster.
Adopted,
You still are. You still are all of these things, but you have to, I don't know, keep little bits of all of them when you introduce yourself or when you have a thing, because they are all part of you. It might not be the first thing you lead with, but it's still there. It's a part of a whole. The puzzle pieces create Patrick Armstrong.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And I feel like I've, especially professionally, found myself in more settings where I'm introducing myself professionally. So, like, leading with the titles or whatever. Yeah. And I've been trying to figure out that going in just from, like, literally my 9-to-5 perspective. But then I'm like, I feel like maybe, I don't know if backsliding is the right word, but I feel like I've been struggling with the amount that I have to go into, like when you get into the more personal side of the introduction, like when you start to have a conversation and you get down that road, it's like, yeah. It's like, oh, are you from Indy? It's like, I feel like I have to, for whatever reason, it always like leads to a thing. And maybe I'm subconsciously leading people down the path to where I have to talk about it, which I don't think that I'm doing, but just feeling like it gets to the story of being adopted. I'm like, I feel like I have a good shorthand for it, but I feel like in the moment and even afterwards, I'm like in my head about it, like thinking about it. And that's why I guess I feel like I've been thinking about, have I done this too much to the detriment where it's like always influencing everything that I do? And it maybe should, and maybe that's fine, but I think I'm currently just struggling with it from personally in the stuff that I've been navigating.
Yeah. I think that's what when we were talking about, like what we want to talk about tonight for this episode. I think something that I've been thinking about is how much weight should being an adoptee have on our identity? Because the way that I see it and experience it is like we've got adoptee creators, not unlike ourselves and doing this podcast. We have like individual, like not influencers per se, but people who use adoption as a way to like kind of speak and kind of platform and kind of, whatever. And then you've got like adoptee filmmakers and adoptee artists and whatever, but like prefixing that with adoptee, I think in a similar idea, like, do we as adoptees are we painting ourselves as maybe unnecessarily one-dimensional, even though maybe it feels like, no, it's this extra dimension, but like by focusing on the dimension, we make ourselves even flatter. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I worry like that in looking for say like adoptee representation in media, or by looking for an adoptee podcast, that we do ourselves a little bit of a disservice by making that so much of our identity that it's like it makes us maybe unnecessarily one-dimensional. And I'm not saying like, for the average person, if they're just consuming that content, I understand like, yeah, I'm in this space, I want to watch like one adoptee movie out of the like 50 that I might consume in a year, or I want to listen to like one podcast out of the like 100 that I consume in a year, whatever. So it's like in that way, maybe not. So maybe it's just a creative problem. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are we maybe as a post-adoption fog people putting unnecessary weight on being out of the fog and like being an adoptee as opposed to just like, oh yeah, I was adopted, and then you move on.
I don't think that we. So I think that we do kind of, but we also don't. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain this very well, but like I think that we do because this is like collectively okay, since like maybe like the 70s, 80s when like literally adoptee done scholarship was happening and like studies were being done. Like there really wasn't like a community to rally around. And I don't even know that adoptee, because I feel like I was saying this early on. Like adoptee was part of my, so yeah, now I'm having like memories flooding back from all of the stuff that we've been doing. Like adoptee is like an identity, but I don't think anybody else outside of that community would see it as such. And so therefore it is kind of not. And so it makes total sense that it would be like, as a collective, we want to lean into it because that legitimizes it. The more people that are like identifying as such, in the same way that Asian American became popularized. It's like it wasn't there, and then it was there in the '60s as like a rallying, like unifier for all of the different people. So I think in that way, I think that we do, whether consciously or subconsciously. I think there is this like, even in like the work that we do of amplifying stories and telling our own stories, like that's the outcry of like I want to be legitimized in this way. I want to be validated in this way, affirmed in this way. I think we don't, because I think if you ask, and what I mean by I think we don't is I think if you ask the individual, it would be like one part of the larger whole. And so, like, for me, it's a struggle to work. It's been a struggle, like, working back to that because I felt like I've approached it that way. And that's all caveated by the fact that this is just the way that I'm feeling about it and the way that I feel like I've went about it. You know, the privilege of doing the podcast and doing it with y'all and, like, just the different things that I threw myself into, especially in the first 3 years. Like, that's just how it's affected me. I don't think that the way that I've experienced it is the way that other people would experience it or even feel about it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where the no comes in, because I don't think that everybody would feel that same way and would be like, it's not everything. But in the same like vein, I understand why if you were like a lawyer or you were like a social worker or whatever the case was, your profession, you maybe would be leading with like the adoption part of it. Yeah. Because that is so crucial to your story.
Yeah.
So that's the yes and no. That was a really long-winded way of getting to that, so please cut out as much as you want. But like I feel like that's the only way I could describe it, is that I think that there is, yes, this overemphasis on it simply because it did not exist. And I think if you look at the term Asian American, it's been like appropriated and bastardized to now just mean East Asian people, essentially. And not this, it doesn't carry the same kind of weight, the same kind of importance that it did when it first came about. And that is only in 60 years. So like it doesn't take that long for stuff like that to happen. But I think that's where the overemphasis is. So I think, yes, it does exist. And like, I think at the individual level, it just depends.
Yeah.
I think as in regards to our podcast, let's just use that as an example. Trying to create a niche topic is important because that's what our audience is. We're looking for people to find out about adoption or about adoptee stories, and you have to kind of have a topic or an area of focus, because that's what people want to engage with. There will be a group of people who probably come across it just randomly and like listening to it and things like that. But I think a majority of people listening to specific content, they are searching for those niches. They're looking for these keywords. And so to create it, I don't think is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. And I mean, in the end, we have changed a little bit too. to be honest. I mean, we started a lot at the very beginning with our topics of adoption and discovery and coming out of the fog, and we moved into other things like language and family and going to Korea, things like that. There was a lot of different topics that came out over the time, and I think like the parenthood at the end is definitely completely different. There's probably some people who may have stopped listening to us because we started talking more about parenthood and adoption, and they may not be interested in that specific topic. So I don't know. I don't know if that answers your question. That was just my take.
Yeah. I think, Patrick, to your point about like individually and like the levels, that kind of helps out, and I think that there is a real sense of in specific circles, social work, legal, therapy.
Those were just the first two that came to my mind.
Academic, like that definitely makes sense. There is a very real, specific kind of like need for scholarly work, for legislative work, for legal work, for social work, etc. For like the adoption to be the emphasis. I just kind of wonder, like, I think about when Blue Bayou came out, or I saw someone be like, "Oh, K-pop Demon Hunters, like it'd be really cool if the Asian American one was also an adoptee, like whatever, like that kind of stuff." Like, yeah, it would be super cool. Joyride coming out, that kind of stuff. Like, it's good. I'm never going to say no to representation, but do we miss the forest for the trees a little bit by just like thinking about adoption representation and then like getting hung up on like, well, they didn't do it right, or they didn't do it whatever, they didn't get a like all that kind of stuff. Like, okay. I think that's where I'm wondering about some of that stuff. Or similarly, like maybe not so much in the podcast space, but like in the I'm an adoptee, I don't know, speaker, not to like, shit on what you were doing, Patrick. But like,
oh my God.
But like just to
president company excluded.
But I like is the like that kind of thing where it's like it's not like just content, it's kind of like a business, like a solo entrepreneur type thingy, but like also whatever. So it's like lower stakes, but not wholly unlow stakes. I don't know. Like, are we doing ourselves a disservice by trying to, I guess, maybe like create a niche market where maybe that shouldn't exist? And if you just like happen to like, oh, I know an adoptee who also does XYZ, like great. I would personally prefer them. But if that person is out there, like, I'm an adoptee real estate agent, be like, do you need to be an adopted real estate agent? Like, is that like part of your hook? Like, that kind of thing where I'm like, are we,
So no bandwagoners is what you're saying.
No, because like I can imagine it would be like authentic to their experience, but it's just like, does it need to like, do we need to always be inserting that into whether it's work or a social relationship or like an online profile, online persona, whatever? I think, Patrick, to your point of like making adoptee maybe an everlasting term, a rallying cry term, whatever. I don't know. I've just been like, maybe it's my own, just be like, I wish I could just like move on, but I've got this dumb podcast that makes me think about this being adopted stuff all the time. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm happy to think about being adopted because that is such a big part of my identity. So just kind of wrestling with like, what are we doing here? What's going on?
Okay. All right. Jeremy Colhane. I was not expecting that. That is fucking hilarious. I think that I would agree with you. That I do think that and this is myself included. Like, there was, again, this overemphasis on like leading with that in the work that you do. And I do think it is, I don't know if it's a disservice, but it is limiting to create to be so niche. And I think I figured that out in like year 3.5, which is why I started to do more broadly Asian American stuff, and why then I got really kind of hyper local, I guess, in Indianapolis, like geographically, which has its own limitations. I would 100% say. I think it's that, and like it's always just down to the individual, because I think about some of the folks who I think might be operating in this way, and I'm like, they're in basically the same boat that I've been in. It's like, this is new, and like this has not only taken over your life, but then becomes an integral part of your life. And I think at some point you're probably going to have the conversation with yourself about like, what are we doing? What's going on?
What's going on?
But I think, I mean, it's all part of it. And I think that's why it's really important that we do get it legitimized more and more and more. And we see representation normalized to where a main character in a movie can be adopted and it's like no thing. And like people aren't making the jokes. It just is what it is. Because I think that helps to push people out of this idea that like that has to be the forefront of everything that they do. And in that way, or the overemphasized like business work stuff that's happening. But again, I think it's only happening because like it's hard for it to happen any other way. Kind of. I mean,
yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just trying to
weird,
go to bat for everybody, I think.
I mean, which you should. It's like if you're putting yourself out there as an adoptee photographer, or you're an adoptee real estate agent, or an adoptee website developer, or whatever, and you're like, why? And I get it, why, because it does kind of provide you a built-in audience, and so like maybe you already exist in the niche because you yourself personally have come out of the fog, and it's like an easy on-ramp to networking and whatever. But yeah, I think it's just like, how do you escape the like niche targeting back into like broad targeting for work, for relationship, for connections, while also I think being true to who you are. So like if I'm meeting a new person, at what point do I feel like I need to disclose I'm adopted? Like at what point does that come up naturally? And actually, like an example for me, so working with the Choctaw Nation, we're doing this whole like strategy thing, and they were talking about tribal sovereignty and why that matters. And I told a little bit of my story because of the work that we were doing in the room, and because of the work I've been doing personally. I was like, I'm adopted, so I'm backing my way into being an immigrant. And now that I have a daughter, like I'm having to access. Oh, we were talking about, no, it wasn't sovereignty. It was about culture, and how for some Choctaw people, it can be like stepping into their own culture can be overwhelming or whatever. It's like, let me tell you, I understand. And so like as like a communications department, one of the things that we want to make sure that we can do is like provide easy on-ramps into a whole people group's culture. Because like when I try to think about like accessing Korean culture, it's really confusing, like to be like, where do I start? Do I start with the history? Do I start with the language? Do I start with the food? Do I start with the culture, like the pop music and all that kind of stuff? And similarly, like for Choctaw, like I watched, maybe for a tribal member, they're like, I watched Echo on Disney Plus, and that was great. But then like, where do I go from there? How do I learn? Do I learn the language? Do I try basket weaving? Do I like submit to the newspaper? Do I need to move into the reservation? What's there? All that kind of stuff. So that felt like a very natural way for me to talk about being adopted. But otherwise, I don't talk about being adopted at work. But I'm like, do I need it to? Do I not need to? At what point does a relationship not become like am I holding back a friendship if I don't say like, hey, I'm adopted? You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a kind of a like, then now that I'm comfortable with who I am, how do I do the dance of getting somebody else comfortable with it? Is that even work that I need to be putting on myself?
Sure. I want to hear more of what Nathan has to say about this, but I have to say that I started laughing because you said like real estate agent twice, and I could just imagine a real estate agent handing me their card, and on the back it just says adopted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is it saying that?
That's why I think it's just a very funny,
I'm thinking about all these like stereotypes and things like that. It's like,
my God, that just made me laugh. I don't know, Nathan. What else you got to say on this?
I don't know if he was calling me out when he said adopted photographer or adoptee photographer.
I did specifically look at where you were. I was like, oh, that's a thing that's an unnecessary profession to put adoptee in front of. Like,
it would be.
Adoptee photographer, adoptee Lego collector,
and at the same time,
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I did photograph a wedding of another adoptee. So, and that topic did come up during the meeting because they specifically asked me about my last name, why it was, German.
Did you say I married into it?
So, no. So, and so I explained, and then the guy says, "Oh, I'm also a Korean adoptee," and so it became this thing where we were like, "Well, wow, blah blah blah," and things like that. But in general, my business was never about me being an adoptee. I think I did have it on my profile, but it was funny because I was, an adoptee, so I kind of was. I did a lot of mixed race weddings. Because the Asian side of the family would feel comfortable with me, and then they found out that I'd be, adopted.
They found out you were adopted, and they immediately became less comfortable with you.
Yeah.
and then the other side was comfortable with me. So I was kind of in the middle of both sides. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
like he sucks at bowing, and then the other side is like he's really great at bowing.
Yeah. Oh my God, you got to teach us that.
He's got some really good white man dances. But. So what would you like to? You said you wanted more.
You might have some more thoughts.
Yeah, about putting that. I do. I think it's unnecessary in certain areas, and like I said before, I think it is important in front of things like, a podcast or a documentary filmmaker, writer. Definitely in areas that people are specifically looking for representation in. So maybe that's the thing. Is what is the categories of representation that people are looking for, and what are the ones that are not? Is there only a set amount? Like, is it only
you only get
therapist?
5?
Yeah, is it only therapist, documentary writer, podcast?
That's 4. You got one more.
Entertainer. Because I know some, some
legal,
some adoptee. Oh yeah, so that would be good when legal too. Yeah, that's actually probably important.
Nah,
yeah. But I mean, think about this: would you go to a doctor who had that title or at least that classification?
Yes, I mean, I guess it depends on the other classifications that they had.
No.
Veterinary. No.
Adopt a doctor, but they only got 3 stars. Yeah.
No, I mean, if they were like a doctor that specialized in adoptees, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how that would fit. But
I mean, I would if we found out that,
Yeah,
we were PI / we were genetically different because we were adopted. Like, yeah, I probably would be like, yo, can I be Spider-Man now?
Or he would automatically not ask for family history, medical history.
I will say that I had to go for my annual checkup the other day, and the doctor, who was a white lady, she said, like, because I've been doing stuff with, like, my blood pressure, she said that, well, and you're also adopted. I remember you're adopted, so there is no history there. And I actually really appreciated that, because when I first went in there, like, nobody remembered. Like, they kept asking me over and over again. And I was just like, I hate it here. I don't want to come back.
Like, listen to me when I'm talking to you.
Yeah. So I just appreciated that in that sense. And again, that's just like a one-off situation, but and not that I was leading into the doctor with like being like, I'm an adoptee.
Yeah. You're like, let me tell you my whole life story. And
don't
like,
trust me.
I'm just trying to check your tonsils. I just asked you to say,
Don't ask.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, you just put that under when it asks that question, you just say, don't ask.
I think the only other thing that this makes me think about is like being, and I don't want this to sound insensitive, but part of an endangered community.
Yeah.
Because like at some point, they just had a huge story come out, and like, I don't know if it was the Atlantic, it was some article, but about adoption. And it was like, we need to talk about adoption and how terrible it is. And that's not just like from Korea or from Asia, just that's like in general. And like, you should, like, if the post on Instagram that I saw just had like a ton of people that we know, just like celebrating it for the way that it was like essentially busting the narrative up. And I haven't really been thinking about this, but this conversation made me think about it. Is like, at some point, should adoption be pushed all the way to the wayside of being like a non-factor in family making for whatever reason. Like, does it? I don't know. It doesn't say, okay,
Are you
you should
saying
definitely keep being
international
an
adoption
adoptee.
or
No, just
all
in general.
all adoption?
All adoption. Like as a viable, like,
Yeah.
substitution
Way
for
forward.
whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, there's like it runs out at some point, so it makes sense that like we would want to. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just like, it makes me think about
Question
like
is, does
being
it?
part of that.
Does it? Right.
I mean, kind of. Like at certain point in the time of the universe, like if that goes away, like that goes away.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's good. It's minimizing and it's decreasing in numbers, but
And
yeah,
again, that could be
specifically
centuries from now.
Sure,
but
yeah, I'm curious if it is something that will go away at some point completely.
but then it
Yeah,
like
I mean,
I
yeah.
don't know.
I was just gonna say, like, to me, it's like, okay, then it is very important that's like we do so much to overemphasize to make sure. Again, for me, it's just like a legitimization
Yeah,
of it as like a like identity for like in the same way that other things can be an identity, and we think about it in the just general consciousness as such.
oh wait, you're saying because it could go
Yeah, because
away,
it could go away.
we should emphasize it.
Kind of, yeah. And I don't necessarily mean to like go back and I'm like going back on everything I said, but that's just something I've been thinking about in this conversation. It's like,
Yeah. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah. I think one of the things that's like always really interesting, and I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but like people will ask me, usually friends and family or whomever that have listened to kind of like a chunk of episodes, not all of them, but a good chunk. And there's been some time to be like, so what do you think about adoption now? And I'll be like, I don't know. I think there is a world where I don't really know that international adoption should be a thing. Then I'm happy to see that go away broadly. Now that there's like a ton of like war and stuff that like will make some of that maybe like impossible.
Sure.
And so like until we, I guess, solve world peace, we might always kind of have the need to adopt potentially across borders. So then you've got like, ethnic considerations and those kinds of things, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. But broadly speaking, I think, yeah, international adoptions should go away. I also have the thing of like, yeah, I mean, adoption's not great. And I know that like it is still a viable means of support. Like if you have a child or if you're going to have a child and you and your family and like your own community cannot help support this child, then like adoption might be a way that you have to do that. Also, I think about queer families who like need to have kids and like is adoption better, more attainable, for whatever reason, to have kids and have a family that way. Like by ending adoption, would we rob other families of having their own like offspring and that kind of thing? Continuing their family tree on, all that kind of stuff. So all that to say, I don't freaking know, but I do think about those. I do think about those things because I can't just say adoption is bad, we should end it, because I think like there are so many things for whom like adoption for any number of reasons might be the only way. Now, systemically on like a wide scale basis, yeah, I think adoption should be solved. I don't know that it ever could be realistically, but I think that I say solved like it's a problem. I don't know. There are so many other things that trickle up to cause adoption and so many other things that like can come from adoption that I'm like, I have a lot of caveats and my show pretty much exclusively focuses on international Asian adoption.
Sure.
So like I don't talk to a ton of domestic adoptees about like what their experiences have been like and all that kind of stuff, or like the foster to adopt route and like that whole thing. So yeah, so I can't just speak for adoption broadly because I speak for one of its many arms, and I speak very poorly about one of its many arms. So
I mean, you speak pretty well.
Not at all. Yeah, not at all. Yes. Well, I think one thing we can all agree on is that even no matter what happens with adoption, the one thing that something that should always continue or increase even is support. And I think that's something that people just don't think about, especially the ones that don't need the support. And so some people are like, oh no, it's fine. Everything's good. Everyone's happy. Right. So I think
because they got all the privilege, the bastards.
So, yeah. So I'm hoping that never goes away. But that's tough.
So you're saying money, please.
Yes. Support,
Money,
support,
please.
support your organizations and yeah. Adoptee mental health organizations,
Yeah.
causes. Yeah.
Thanks for the
Con.
chat. This
Just
is
say
giving me a
con.
lot to think about. Just say con.
I did not say it. I was thinking it. I didn't say it.
I knew you wanted to say it.
Just say the Janchi Show.
It's basically your job, so.
Hey.
Yeah,
Support
this
the
was a
show,
good chat.
John Cheers.
Give us your money and trust that we will also
Yeah.
give it to Con eventually.
It's true.
I mean, part of it's going to Nathan, so it kind of is.
It's true. Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for the talk. And we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to jump into a food or drink item as soon as I find the music cue.
Why did you look up at the camera like that?
Welcome back to the Janchi Show. We are back with another food portion. And why? What do you think I was looking? I was
no
reading.
idea.
I was trying to read the item that we're getting ready to eat, and I realized again that I cannot read Korean. So I was.
Did you forget?
Not forget, I guess, but I don't even know why I was looking at it so long. I'm like, what does that say?
You were
Is there
like,
anything
I swear, it's oh, it's not
recognize?
English.
I'm like, I don't recognize any of that. And then
You
I
don't
was like, should I
recognize the
get my
Baskin Robbins?
Oh,
Okay.
my God. That's
I was
so
like, should I get my app out so that I can like translate it? So,
That
and
is
look,
too
there's
funny.
a little English on the back. So we are eating a Baskin Robbins Choco Ball, which literally looks like a chocolate coated malt ball. So,
I'm diving in.
But it says it's pretzel. And I have never known Baskin Robbins to make anything other than ice cream. Have you guys? Have you had anything that's a
No.
Baskin Robbins
I
non-ice
can't say
cream?
that I have.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
neither. So that's why I bought these.
Wait, don't they make
Yeah.
coffee?
I don't
Do
know.
they?
Do they?
Is that? Are you thinking Haagen-Dazs? Oh, did you already
I don't
open
know.
it?
He did. He jumped
Already
right in.
digging
He
in?
loves.
Yeah, all right. So I was just gonna say the Korean
hard to
on
open.
here that I can read. It says "Ama는 외계인 choco ball." So I don't know what 외계인 is, but something about mom's chocolate ball. And then there's another little
All right.
thing,
Not like
A little-
hearing that.
another little thing here that says "달콤한 초콜릿과 바삭한 프레첼 볼에 좋아." So something like "you'll like this sweet chocolate pretzel ball." I don't know what basakan is, but I feel like I'm side note, I'm just like very happy that I was like, oh hey, wait, I understood like more of this than not. So
You did a great job.
thank you. Not searching for compliments, but I appreciate them nonetheless. Yeah.
Appreciate me.
So yeah, I mean, Baskin Robbins is a California-based company. So
Country.
I don't know. I never knew. Like I said, I never knew them to make anything other than ice cream. So when I saw these, I was like, curious.
How did you
okay.
open this?
It was not
very
easy.
difficult.
Yeah, it was not easy. I will give it negative points for that. But no, yeah.
Okay, but I actually
kinda
need to
just
know
pulled it.
to like join you on the podcast.
I
I
Oh,
just
you
pulled
ripped
it
it apart,
aside.
from the top
Yeah.
and then
Okay,
unsealed it that way
alright.
down the middle.
Yeah, maybe. My wife's tested.
I like
Go get
the
some
crunch.
scissors.
It is crunchy for sure. It is not malty like it looks like.
I
kind
feel
of
like
on
I've
the front.
had some like this before
I mean, to be
in
fair,
America.
it does taste like the pretzel M&Ms in a way,
Yeah.
a little bit.
M&Ms. Oh,
Yeah.
Less chocolate though.
Yeah. This has a lot more chocolate on it. Yeah, or less. I mean, but no. I mean, I don't know what makes this Baskin Robbins or Korean. but it's tasty.
Well, there's Korean on it, so that makes it Korean.
And Baskin Robbins logo.
Oh wait,
So
there's
that
like
makes it
they're
Baskin Robbins.
individual.
Yeah, they're little
They're like
balls.
Whoppers. Oh,
What do you think it was? A giant ball?
They're
I
like
thought it
Mom's
was.
little
Yeah, I thought it
chocolate
was like
balls, you
one
said.
big thing.
That would be hard to eat.
Oh yeah, it's like a Whopper,
Yeah.
but instead of the malt, it's pretzel.
Pretzel, yeah.
Oh yeah, Whopper. That's what I was trying to think of.
I love Whoppers.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I like anything with chocolate.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is delicious.
These are pretty good. I mean,
I get into this.
Yeah.
Good job, Baskin Robbins.
Good job, Korea.
This also says product of Korea, so
Yes, it does. I did it right.
I like the no nonsense packaging.
Yeah. It's simple.
Not a lot of anything on there but the facts.
I really like the chocolate on it. I think the chocolate is high quality. I know we talked about in our last episode how none of us really think that Hershey's is that good. Wait, is that true?
Yes.
No, I did not say that.
Oh, okay.
What?
Nathan
I
and
said
I
it was okay.
agreed
I
that
said
Hershey's chocolate is not that good. This chocolate, quite good. So
This is good
it's milk chocolate, but I think the pretzel inside there really like gives it an extra oomph. I hate that I needed scissors to open the package. That
Yeah.
is dumb. So
Yeah.
be more ADA compliant, Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, Baskin Robbins.
Nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a man. I think I would have given it a 5, but this whole scissors thing,
Yep.
I'm gonna give it like a. What's it appropriate? I guess a 4 is. I'm gonna knock
Okay,
it
I
down
was
a
gonna
whole
say.
point.
At least 4.25, if not lower.
Yeah, I was like, well, should I go sub 4? But just for, I mean, I'm really passionate about accessible packaging. If you want me to enjoy your product, make me able to open your product. But yeah, I think it's a 4. It's a really, like I said, I would have given it a 5. Otherwise, it's really good. So that's my take.
I also would have to go to the 5 if the packaging wasn't so difficult to enter.
You guys
Pause.
are so strict. Hey.
I'm going to go 4.25
Wow.
because it was very frustrating to open this. And now I've opened it in such a way that I have to eat them all.
Oh,
I can't like
darn.
fold it back over.
Shucks.
That's the trick.
Yeah, that's what they wanted. It's a nice size bag though. Like it's like
It does
just
have
enough.
a lot in there.
It has a lot, but just enough. It's not like too many.
Did
in
you
a
already
way,
eat them all?
like, maybe. Fun fact: Baskin and Robbins were two gentlemen that started the company. Did you know they flipped a coin to figure out which name would go first, Baskin or Robin?
Wow.
So there you go. Baskin won.
Baskin won because he had that Harvey Dent style coin that was just 2 heads on both sides, so he knew he was going to win.
he cheated.
Cheater.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4.5. I'm not gonna dock it too much for the packaging. I'm just
How ableist of you.
I'm just
sticking
gonna
to the
say it's
man.
a pretty good.
Bro.
It's not a 5, but it's pretty good. So that's why I'm giving it a 4.5. I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know. If you look at them, they're all different sizes too, which is so
So
some
you
are
want some size
crunchier than other-
uniformity?
Yeah, like
Wow.
M&Ms are all pretty equal. You know,
Ableist and
That's not true.
sizist in the same podcast? In the same food segment?
and maybe
Nathan's back.
I'm just missing the Whoppers. I don't know, but no, it's good. I like it. That's what I'm saying. 4.5 is still good. So,
4.5
Good
is
job.
pretty good rating.
Mr. Robin and Mr. Baskin.
You cheater.
I make my own luck. I don't know if we brought this up before, but before recording tonight, we ran into Target to go get something. We walked down, I went down the Asian aisle as I tend to always do. And I saw choco pie and shrimp crackers there. Now, it's been a while
Nice.
since I've been in Target, but I stopped and took pictures. It's not my original shrimp crackers, but it's like not the like, they don't look super, like they're not trying for an American audience. You know, I mean, choco pies are they're choco pies, but
Yeah.
but the shrimp crackers are like very much shrimp crackers. They're the same shrimp. It's like the same type of bag that like I pulled it out in high school And all my white high school friends would have been like, ew, what is that? It smells, blah, blah, blah. Then they loved it. And it literally made me tear up in Target. And I was like, wow, we talk about like representation and like K-pop demon hunters doing the thing. And the way like how now you see like Huntrix on ramen packages and all that kind of stuff. But just like seeing a choco pie and seeing shrimp crackers in a Target of all places, and just knowing like that is legit. Like that's Lotte, that's Kalbi. Like these are Korean brands. Yeah, that was just like really, really cool and really powerful. So much so that I asked my wife, hey, have you read the book Crying in H Mart? And why was that person crying? Because I was just crying in Target and I didn't know if it was the same thing. It was not the same
sequel.
thing.
It was not
Right,
the
a
same
sequel.
thing.
It's the
Crying
spiritual
in Target.
sequel. Not at all related.
I was crying in Target last week only because the scalpers beat me to the Pokemon.
Oh my god!
But on other
We're gonna be on
notes,
one of these videos.
I hate that sound.
That felt especially harsh when I watched it. That was hilarious. All right, take us out of here.
I want to say thank you for everyone for listening. And if you're wanting to contact us, you can contact us at janchishow@gmail.com. You can leave us a review on any of our platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, even YouTube. Somebody asked me recently if we're on YouTube, and I said yes, but I don't know how many people listen on YouTube. I don't know, but it's there. It's just
Some
the video,
people.
not the video, but the audio portion is on there. And you can find me at nnowalk on Instagram.
Catch me at KJ Roelke, wherever I want to be found on the internet.
Patrick in the world, wherever I want to be found on the internet
What?
too.
Do you want to try that again?
Yeah.
No, I wanted to say something. You said some alliterative cool thing. Catch me at KJ Roelke, and I'm like, oh man, now I got to come up with something, and I did. I failed.
You were like, peruse
failed.
for me at Patrick in the world.
That's what I should have said. And I am Patrick in the world, wherever I am also on the internet.
In
Find
the
me.
world, in the interwebs.
I am in the digital and the physical world.
And and hopefully everyone enjoyed this episode. And episode 181.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Leave us those 5-star reviews. Like I said. Honestly,
Balance us out.
we're happy for everyone supporting us and sending emails and stuff. I don't think we have a voicemail or anything, but we did get some nice emails from everyone. So thank you for those. We do read those and appreciate them. So
To be honest, I would love to hear people's thoughts on this conversation that we had.
yeah,
I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
I don't check
so-
the email though, so somebody's gonna have to forward that to me.
Nope.
Yeah.
I will just sit and constantly spam that refresh button on our inbox. So until then, Janchi, heyo!
Hey-o!
Bye.